see you. Good evening. Hi, Ozzy. Hi, Nick. Hi, John. Hi, Ian. Hi, Niels X2. Hi. Hi, Dave. Hi, Bombi. Hi, Martin. Hi, last one. Hi, Grumpy. Hi, Carolyn. I think I'm doing double rounds here. Hi, Odin. Hi, Ronnie. Um, Running media ads. Oh. Hi, Lynn. Hi. Hi, Reckless. Hi, guys. So I went and met with the students at the academy today, and I am shook. So this is not going to be a TikTok video, or if it's going to be, it's just going to be like small little excerpts, because I could not have imagined the scale of the destruction of that academy. And like, I don't even know where to start, because from the outside it looks like a part of one it kind of looks like a couple of rooms got ruined, right? The walls in most of that building are cracked and are in a one second. How about now? Is that better sound? Um, so the walls in the entire building are cracking, and the building is basically in in an emergency state. Um, Sound is low indeed. Let me try. Okay, one second. I'm going to do. I can't hear very quiet. How about now? Is that better? I keep forgetting which side of this mic is gain and which side is just some random plus and minus buttons. About 25%. Okay, let's see if this helps. Better. Okay, let's do more. I'm not using the lavalier right now because I killed the battery today, filming the academy. So for those of you who are on YouTube and didn't hear what I was saying, I went and met up with the students. I actually sent them the money today, without waiting for raising more. And I'm hoping that we can raise more and I can send them more, because like when I was going there, what I saw from the outside was that a part of like a building was ruined, and it looked like maybe some auditoriums, maybe like a couple of rooms got damaged. That is not the case. I will show you some of the footage that I filmed, because it was honestly shocking how much destruction this academy has really suffered. I met with a couple of with like 4 students. One of them actually walked us through the academy and told us everything, um, that we can told us everything about what had happened. There was a girl who saw everything happen from her dorm, because her dorm is right across the street. So she kind of like gave me her account of the events. Someone's asking, does your page still have links to Ukrainian businesses to support? So if you go on my Instagram, who I'm following is not private, and I follow a lot of different Ukrainian brands, from jewelry and clothing and like skincare and stuff like that. So you can go to my Instagram, which is the same as my TikTok, and you can look at who I'm following, and everything that looks like a brand, most of them are going to be Ukrainian brands, and Ukrainian brands are also going to say they're Ukrainian brands. So peruse away. There is a ton. I mean, like a ton. I probably follow like 200 different things, because anytime I see a good Ukrainian brand, I just hit follow for this particular reason. So yeah, so basically I went and looked at the academy, and like I can't explain to you the extent of damage that this building had suffered. So first of all, most of that particular building of this massive academy it had like an auditorium where diplomas were being given to students. There was a piano hall, and there were children's dance classes that kids would take there in the evening. There, all of the final projects, graduating projects, were kept in that building of the academy, and they're all ruined at this point. All of the fantastic works from famous artists who teach at that academy have all been ruined. Um, Most of their auditoriums, so most of their classrooms, do not have windows, and the walls are cracked. And the building is like in an emergency state because some of these walls are bound to like collapse on themselves. We did walk around the academy, but like we basically did that like we shouldn't, because this building can genuinely like collapse. But I wanted to film all of this for you guys so you could see what that looks like, because it is just so a missile didn't hit the building. It was a piece of a missile debris. So a missile was intercepted, and segments of the missile fell onto the building because and if it had been a missile that had struck that building, the entire block would have been wiped out. So I have footage on my phone that I'm going to show you. Actually, I was with a friend, and his name is Corey, and he's an American who's been living in Ukraine for the past 8 years. And he does a lot of like content traveling around different cities in Ukraine and filming, what life is like in these cities during the war. So I invited him to come with me and help me film. And so a lot of the footage on this phone is actually Corey. So I don't know what this footage is because my footage is on this phone. And I'm going to show you some of it. These are very long because well, they are, but I'm going to show you this segment. So this was us. This is me and the students, and we were standing in that window right there. This is what the academy looks like, and this is the part that was not hit. This is the part that was hit by the debris. The rest of the building is just like falling apart in cracks. And this is just us standing in one of the auditoriums on the first floor. As you can see, most of them do not have windows. This is the massive part of the building that collapsed, and thankfully most of the students were at the dorm at that time, and they weren't in the building. So thankfully not that many students have suffered. Are you in Ukraine now? Yes, I have been here for the past 3 months full time. I'm going to show you more because we were filming quite a bit. So this is one of the hallways. This one is not even that bad. This is sorry, this is like, but this is one of the hallways. As you can see, it's just like fully covered in glass shards and stuff like that. Corey filmed these. So I'm kind of warming you up to the worst parts of this, because there are parts that are much worse, and we're getting there. This is one of the students, Kostya, who was walking us around. His English is very nice. And he was he was our narrator for this visit. I want to find the part for you where we go to, oh, there we have it. So, okay. So this is a wild part. And some of the students that were there were actually former students that just came back to the academy to show us around because they wanted us to see what was happening. And they wanted to talk about it, and they love the academy, and they want to help the academy. I'm going to, there is a, there is a bit farther, farther, um, where they went to the second. So there is more. I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is not going to be a TikTok, this is going to be a full blown YouTube video, is because, first of all, he was telling us so much about this academy. Second of all, we have like hours of footage. There are, I think it's this floor that's like, that's the worst of them, genuinely. They want to rebuild the academy, or try and gather enough money, to rebuild parts of this academy for students, because some of them are students, some of them are teachers, some of them are former students, and they're all a very, very, very tight knit community, and they're all working to help each other and to help restore this college, this academy, because they said that they consider it to be their home. And this academy is named after Boyuk, and he was an artist, he was an activist, he was murdered. And this academy has like a really, really, it's got a very big, like a very, very large community spirit. When filming for YouTube full length videos, always try to film in landscape. Yeah, I know. The reason why that didn't happen is because we first thought this is going to be a much shorter video than it actually was. So this is the performance hall and like concert hall, and you will see in a second what had happened to it. I think this is probably one of the most like horrifying things. First of all, there's a chandelier on that stage that just fell, and it was sort of like eerily moody. That on the over there, like you just saw it, that is a wall that's missing. They're gonna get closer there, but yeah, that's a part of the wall that just isn't there anymore. He's also a pianist, so he's gonna play the piano a little bit. Apparently he's played that piano many times. I find it just, yeah, I find it just incredible. There is, I mean, there's a lot more there, but basically it's going to take years for them to rebuild these facilities. And there is a ceramic department there. There is a portraiture and landscape painting department. Like, so much was ruined there. And you should have seen how happy they were when they received the donation today. So I can get them on record stating that I did forward them the money. What ended up happening is I thought that this would be like an hour tops, right? We were there for, I want to say, 3 hours, and we were filming a lot, and Corey was kind of off with Kostya, and I was off with the girls, and then we would like intertwine and intercept and sort of like film together and stuff like that. There was just so much to film. So I ended up forwarding them the money at the coffee shop afterwards. Before we all went our own ways. I was gonna do that on camera because I wanted it to be on camera. But it was just like, I don't know. I was like, oh wait, I have this for you, because I was honestly like, I was baffled by the scale. Like I didn't expect it. You know, like as in, it looks much worse inside than it did from the outside, because first of all, you see there were a lot of works, like ceramic works, recovered from the debris. And there was a guy there, I think he's one of the professors in the ceramic studio, trying to restore them and fix them up. It's just, I don't know, it was so crazy to see it from the inside. And I also understood why all of these students were so upset seeing that, this coffee shop went viral because one window and a door flew out in there. And everyone, the media and everyone was like talking about it because it was a very media friendly story. Like, a barista stayed and she's great. Like, it totally deserved all the attention it got. But the problem is that while this coffee shop was going viral, everyone just sort of glossed over the academy, and the scale of the destruction in that academy is like surreal. I mean, I'm going to pick out moments so that like you see it in the footage better than what I just showed you on the phone, but it is really bad. Like, I couldn't believe it. So um so we're going to try and reach out. What I want to try and help them do is, they said they would look into different art pieces that they can put on auction. And I'm going to reach out to Rick and to other YouTubers, creators that I know, and try to do a live auction of their art. And try to do a live auction of their art. Maybe we could all come to the Art Academy, to one of the still standing but half destroyed auditoriums, and we could set up each our own cameras and live stream this auction and help them sell this art, and kind of raise money that way. But for something like that to happen, it needs to be, there needs to be sort of like advertisement and stuff like that, because they need a lot. Like, every penny they can get really does count, because genuinely, like, that was, I didn't expect, I know I'm talking about it like, wow, I didn't expect it, but like, I did not expect how bad that was. I mean, like, I was going there understanding that it was going to be bad, but I didn't understand just how bad. Like, glass everywhere. Yes, so you could technically donate to one of the students who they set up like a fund where, in Monobank. So if you're Ukrainian and you have a Monobank account, you can donate through their Monobank account. It was in my story yesterday. Let me see if it's still there. It should be, because if it expired, I'll just make a highlight for it. But if you use PayPal or Venmo, you can donate to me and I'll forward it to them. So let me see. Because Monobank doesn't always work for international accounts. I don't have it on my story anymore, but let me put it in the donate highlights from yesterday. Say 1 second. 1 second. Not posts. Archive, but stories. Oh, how do I do this? Stories archive. Yes. Oh, 1 sec. Sorry. These little things piss me off very much. Oh no, because that was the coffee shop that I had. I didn't have the Art Academy yet. Okay, well, if you would like to donate through Monobank, then after this live, about 30 minutes after, check my stories, and I will do like a comprehensive story on it. Never any dead air with Yulia talking to herself. Thanks. You're so kind. I donated through Monobank a year ago and hasn't worked since. Yeah, so Canada, Australia usually have issues with Monobank. The US usually has issues with Monobank unless you use a credit card, but not all credit cards work. If it doesn't work, can we earmark it for the school? Earmark. So when you send like anything to my PayPal, in the notes usually people put what it's for, so that way I know which fundraiser it's for, or like, what it's well, I mean, genuinely usually happens during fundraisers. But yeah, people still say what it's for, like for drones or for the art school or for the coffee shop. So I usually just ask to put a note saying that it's for the school. But yeah, if you feel more comfortable donating to the Monobank and it works for you, then just check after, like a little bit after the like maximum 30 minutes. Maximum 30 minutes. It's just that I need to find where that link was. The name of the school is Boyuk Academy of Decorative Arts and Design. I can write it out on Boyuk Academy of Decorative Arts and Design. Okay, so I just put that in the YouTube comments. On TikTok. Kat, could you please help me out? Boychuk Academy of Decorative Arts and Design. I just feel like most people who are not Ukrainian are going to have a very hard time spelling Boychuk. So that's the academy. The students from there did open a Monobank jar. And I do have a link to it somewhere because I was going to post the Monobank jar with the video about the academy because I was going there with the assumption that it would be like a TikTok length video or an Instagram length video, basically like, you know, a vertical video. And we have like an hour and a half worth of material. And honestly, I don't even know how to shorten it to a degree that it would be comprehensible. Comprehensible in like a minute to a 3 minute long video, which is why we like agreed with the students that I would be posting their Monobank jar when I put together the video. So me and Corey are going to do a voiceover behind it, and I'm going to voice over the girls that were speaking Ukrainian because their English wasn't really like enough to talk to us in English. The guy posted it speak in English, and then Corey and I were gonna also insert our own commentary of like sort of our reactions to what we have seen, and we're going to do like a comprehensive, you know, piece. And we were thinking that we would set up a date for the fundraiser sometime next month, for the auction fundraiser sometime next month, and we would sort of like advertise it ahead of time so many people know, and we will try to reach out to like bigger Ukrainian creators so they could share this fundraiser or this auction on their pages, and maybe they could join in because, you know, it'd be much better if it was like a lot of us simultaneously streaming on our accounts, because then we could definitely get a larger audience, and we can get a larger amount of bids and a larger amount of donations. But honestly, like, yeah, I am like in a state of shock today, to be honest. And I spent so much time today filming this, and I feel like it is very emotionally like taxing. It is. It's yeah, it is very emotionally taxing, just sort of like walking through that all day. It's yeah, it's quite a lot. So that was most of my day today. And then I came home, I made some food for dinner. Well, actually, no, I went to a grocery store and I got a pre-made plov. Plov is an Uzbek rice dish with beef. It is really good. And I thought this pre-made plov is not going to be good because, let's face it, it's a pre-made plov. And you know what? It was a really good plov. Like, I was amazed at how good this plov was. So I had that for dinner, and I ate the whole thing, and it was huge. Like, I mean, I think I had 3 portions. like 3 adult male-sized portions. It was like very good plov. Well, maybe 2 adult male-sized portions, you know. Yeah. I'm very full still. It's been like 3 hours since I had dinner, maybe more. And I'm still full. Just FYI. And I got some, cheese and like other groceries, and I came home and I watched an episode of a TV show that hasn't come out in like 2 or 3 weeks because they took like a weird break from production, and it was a very disappointing episode. Liv, oh my gosh, Liv made it to her new family. Liv made it to her new family. So my dad's friend drove from Lviv to Kyiv this morning because he's just a very nice person to pick up Liv, and he brought some of my clothes from my mom's. And I was advised by dog trainers and by the shelter owner to not go with them to pick her up because it's going to traumatize her even more, because she's going to see me and think that I'm taking her home, and then I'm going to leave her. And so I didn't go, but also, like, to be fair, I did not think that I would be able to emotionally handle seeing her and then letting her go. So they went and picked her up, and they drove her to Lviv, to Winnicke specifically. And she made it to her family. I gave her her blanket and her toy and a bunch of her stuff. I was also like I was so like out of it that I forgot to give her like her little sweaters and stuff. Which is, but I'm gonna be in Lviv on Friday, so for Easter, so I'm going to bring them with me. I also want to give them like shampoo. I just want to give her everything that I can give her. It's just a lot of the stuff that Liv was shared with Cindy and was Cindy's before Liv's, or I just bought it for both dogs. And so I just want to see like the things that I can feasibly give them, so she has them. And yeah, apparently when they came with her like blanket, and they came with her apparently when her like blanket when they gave her the blanket and they gave her her toy, she started she kind of like livened up and started looking for me. And so he kept saying that she was like smelling it, and it did seem like she was looking for me, and that was like heartbreaking. But then she made it home to her new parents, and or to her new family. And I'm gonna show you some videos. Uh it's just that her, like, I don't know how to show it without I don't know if their faces, if it's okay to like show their faces. So okay, well, this one is kind of like you can't really see. Okay, so oh, okay, one sec. I don't know how to one sec. Save video. Oh, there we have it. Okay, because I don't want to show you like the girl's phone number, Okay, so this is a video from Telegram of Liv with her new human. She's still a little like shaken, she's still not quite adapted, but it's only been like a couple of hours. But she looks, she was like smelling and sniffing and stuff like that, and she was like running around, and she was curious. So that's like good, because she's the type of dog that, like, if she was like not happy or she was not comfortable at all, she would just like kind of be sitting in the corner and staring at you. So she was sitting on so it's a boyfriend and a girlfriend who adopted her, and she was like sitting on his lap maybe like 10 minutes into her getting there. Apparently my dad, so Liv knows my dad, and my dad has like a really soft spot for her, and I think I figured out why, because Liv reminds me of my like, we had a family dog who died in 2018. I mean, she was older, but it was our family dog. And when my parents got a divorce, she stayed with my mom because my dad was like kind of in between apartments and stuff. But she was like his dog. Like that was, he like loved that dog. And so Liv reminds him of that dog, I think. She reminds me of that dog. And that dog was a rescue too. Well, we got her when she was 8 months old. But she was a rescue, and she was already like a big dog. And I think that my dad has like a really a soft spot for her. And so he apparently drove up to his friend on the highway, and he went with them to bring Liv to her new family because he wanted to check out the apartment, make sure that everything is like nice. He was like, it's big, it's clean. You know, the guy, he's like, he's so young and he's so scrawny and stuff, but he seems nice. And I was like, okay. Apparently, Liv was like licking his hand the whole drive there. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, so I mean, like, I'm gonna miss her a lot. And the trainer, when she was there, kept sending me all of these videos of her, and it's like part of me like doesn't, I like can't watch them because I'm just like, oh, baba, and then I'm like, I know that it's difficult, and like it's been a really like crappy process, but I'm very happy that like she we have found her like a good family where she's going to be happy, and she's going to be the only dog, and they will like give her all of their attention and stuff. um but yeah, it's a very very it sucks. It fucking sucks. But it's like I can't do anything about it because like her and Cindy just keep literally like getting at each other's throat and fighting. And yeah, yeah. Well, I'll be able to visit her. I hope that they're doing okay. I hope they'll be sending me videos. And yeah. Did the runner up get that other bulldog? So she did message them, but I don't think they have like I don't think she had gone to seen her yet, or I don't think they have. I don't know yet. She did tell me that she will let me know how their conversation goes and stuff like that. So I really do hope that she gets the bulldog, because that bulldog also deserves to be happy and have a family. But yeah, so how is Cindy? Cindy is good. Cindy is snoring. Cindy, come here. Cindy, come here. Cindy, good. Okay, she's in her sleeping element, so I don't think I can distract her from her sleeping element. She's back to being the main character. I don't think she's ever ceased being the main character cat. It's like even if someone is trying to like outshine her, I don't think it's possible because Cindy is just such a queen. Oh my gosh, I got Cindy the cutest little t-shirt that looks literally, so like I don't really buy clothing for Cindy. Cindy doesn't really like clothing. But so I did this incredibly stupid thing where you know how like crazy people, and I mean crazy people, will get matching outfits with their dogs. I've entered the era of crazy people. Okay. Because do you remember that like black and white shirt, mime shirt that I wore the other day with like a red collar? Okay. Just you wait. I got this for Cindy. It was right there. Okay. Like, how could I not have? How could I not have? Cindy hates it. She hates all clothing. But she did graciously wear it for me for like a couple of hours today. So it is adorable. And I'm sure she'll never wear it again. But you know, well, here's the thing. Maybe we can like take a picture, me and my shirt that I actually love, and like Cine just matching me, because I've noticed, like, Ukrainian people really like doing professional photo shoots with like professional photographers. Like that's a thing. Like everybody has like pro photo shoots on their, on their Instagram profile. So I'm just like, have I entered the phase of 30? Crazy 30, okay. Not like just 30, not shitting on being 30, just saying like a phase of 30 where you like lose your mind. Some people do, some people don't, right? And do I go and get a photo shoot with my dog in matching outfits? I think I've reached that that stage in my life. Yeah. So also, Yulia's drink suggestion of the night. This is a new type of kombucha. As I said, I am on a mission to try all Ukrainian kombuchas. Actually, I do love this one. This one is called Wild Kombucha, and it's raspberry kombucha. And I actually really like it. This is the first one that isn't that Spraha brand that I actually really like. Cue in some troll fighting with me in the comments and saying that it's beer. There was a troll in the comments to one of the videos the other day who seriously spent time of his life arguing that it's beer. And I was like, wow, you must be so bored with your life, honestly. So yeah, even though, it literally says kombucha right on this bottle. I mean, I don't expect much from trolls, but like, really? Yeah, see, that's what I meant, like competing with cat ladies. See, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like the image of a crazy lady is always like a cat lady, right? But like, what if we rebrand that to a bulldog lady? Because like, I think that is like, that's a bulldog lady. This is steadily approaching bulldog lady. When I got Liv, my dad was like devastated because he's like, so you're going to be single and with 2 French bulldogs? You're never going to date anyone. He like thought I was going to be undateable because I have 2 French bulldogs. And you know what? I'm starting to kind of see his point. Like I'm starting to see his point. Just like a little bit. Just like, it's not like I'm going out there and buying matching outfits with my dog, right? Right. That would be crazy. That'd be insane. Who would do that? Matching outfits with my dog? Absolutely not. Who would do that? Crazy people. Crazy people. Can't believe people do that. Well, see, Lars, the thing is, that is in the past, right? So now my dad is on to like the future, and it is really scary for him that I will be an undateable bulldog lady. Like, I'm sorry, like the way that my dad posed it, I was like, he was like, so you're going to be 30, single, and with 2 bulldogs? And I was like, first of all, sir, you're 56, okay? Like, you have absolutely no prerogative of being like, you're going to be 30. Like, oh, you're going to be 60, single, and with no dogs? How dare you? Oh my gosh, Dad. That is like abomination. Yeah. So anyways, I was like, ouch. First of all, single by choice, bulldogs by choice. 30, not so much by choice, but we're getting there. Your dad's mean. Yes, he is. He really is sometimes. And like, he doesn't get it. He like thinks, okay, so a lot of you know my dad, have met my dad, have seen my dad, and you only know the good sides of my dad, the caring sides of my dad. You know, you don't know the childhood trauma sides of my dad. Okay, I will give you this one example before we get to the news. But basically, when I just moved to the US, I stayed there for a year, and then I came back for summer break. I think it was either summer break or winter break, and I had gained some weight. I don't mean like a ton. I don't mean like a ton of weight. I mean like 5 kilograms maybe. You know, change of climate, change of pace, like less walking. I was like in the suburbs of New York, right? So I get off the airplane in Lviv airport. My dad stands there waiting for me, and he literally looks at me up and down and goes, "Did you eat my child?" I was like 17 or 18, okay? Fragile teenage being with lots of complexes and whatnot, self-esteem issues, you know. Then I came home, and so I used to not be able to like eat on an airplane because I just like, it was weird for me, like the gravity thing, like the fact that you're in air and like eating is just like wasn't a thing. And so it's like a 13 to 14 hour flight with the layover, right? So I was like hungry. Like, I haven't eaten in 14 hours. And I came home and I opened the fridge to go get a yogurt, and my dad is right there behind me, and he's like, "Are you sure you need that?" And I was like, "Thanks for all the childhood trauma I will now have to work through with my therapist 10 years from now. Thanks." I was spot on. So it's a yogurt. Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, my dad was just being mean because he was like, he couldn't handle the fact that I was just not like, you know, I wasn't skinny. Like, how dare I? Yeah. My grandma is kind of like that. My grandma literally, like every single time I come over to her place, she either tells me that I look great and I lost weight, even if that didn't happen, or she tells me that I'm just like, you know, that I'm a little too chubby and I could afford to like to go on a diet. But it's like when you talk about grandmas, you know, like mine is 75, so it's just like I forgive her a lot of her behavior, or a lot of the things that she says. And it's like, it's wild, random things too. It's like, you know, I could show up there today and she would tell me that that I'm basically like, in very blatantly, that I'm just fat, right? And then I could show up the next day and she'd be like, "Wow, you lost so much weight. You look so good." And I'm just like, it's been less than 24 hours. I was obese in your understanding yesterday. How does that work? She also like doesn't just do that. She also doesn't just do that like verbally, right? She will like literally come up to you, go like this, right? And then tell you you're fat. Just love it. So that's the grandma I'm going to be celebrating Easter with this weekend. So I'm sure I'm going to come back with a lot of fantastic information for you guys. My grandma is wild. She's a wild ride. A wild card. She also tells us stories, like so many different stories, and like she's told us these stories on repeat, like over the years, and the details to these stories are like never the same. When we were trying to place our family history, so I was told that my great grandpa, her father, was a Jewish man from Chernivtsi. Apparently, everyone else in my family was told he was a Jewish man from Sumy. And like, We don't know which Ukrainian city he was from. There are lots of like very blurry details. Very blurry details. KP, how the hell do I recognize so many names in here? Do you watch Rick the Ukrainian very often? I think the answer to your question lies with Rick the Ukrainian. Okay. Oh, I showed you this. I actually showed you this video a while ago, but United 24 made a tiny little segment about this video, which is so convenient. So I'm going to show it to you again. But we watched a bit of this video interview with a Russian KGB agent who defected, and it was an interview in the 70s, and he talks about how Russia wanted to, well, the Soviet Union at that time, Russia wanted to destabilize the US. And the things that he was talking about were like incredibly so interesting, and it put so much in perspective, and like so many things started making sense. And so I really implore all of you who have not watched that interview with Yuri Bezmenov, who is a KGB defector, who was a KGB defector in the 70s. I implore you to watch that interview. It's available on YouTube, and I actually linked it. If you like scroll a couple of posts down my community tab, you will find it there. It's a really good interview, and it'll explain so much for you. Before I show you this excerpt, Armin's quote of the day is up on YouTube. The role of art is to make a world which can be inhabited. William Sarayan. Without art and artists, we have nothing. Please support artists and art schools for the future of our children. I actually really agree with that. Hi, Jedamom. A lot of the division in America right now traces back to Russia. Oh, yeah. And you have no idea. Like, you think that Russia started doing this recently? No. This has been a thing that started in the most recent times. It started in 2000, in like early 2000s. Before that, it was all starting in the 1970s, 1960s. It was during the Iron Curtain times. Like, Russia was always playing the US. And the US tends to think that it knows everything. But when it comes to Russia, the US often loses because they view Russia through the lens of the US and through the Western lens. So they interpret Russia's actions and stuff like that through a Western lens. And you can't do that because that's not how that works. While Russia interprets the actions of the Western world, understanding that these people are very different, and it's interpreted through a Western lens, which is why Russia is so much stronger in propaganda. Okay, present. 1 second. Video file. So this is an excerpt of that interview. I do really recommend that you watch the whole thing whenever you can. But for now,
the highest art of warfare is not to fight at all, but to subvert anything of value in your enemy's country, be it moral traditions, religion, respect to your authority and leaders, cultural traditions, anything. Put white against black, old against young, I don't know, wealthy against poor, and so on. Doesn't matter. As long as it disturbs society, as long as it cuts the moral fiber of a nation, it's good. And then you just take this country, when everything is subverted, when the country is disoriented and confused, when it is demoralized and then destabilized.
So this is a tiny little excerpt. He says a lot of the things in that interview of which tactics Russia uses, of kind of how they fool the United States, how they fool other countries, how they came to destabilize India, like a lot of wild things that actually make a lot of sense when you listen to this interview and you think of everything that's been happening in the information space surrounding Russia and Ukraine and the West and Donald Trump, for instance. you you will, so many things will start making sense to you, and you will see how it's directly Russia's doing. And so someone said that he was prophetic. Like, he wasn't. He was part of that system, and he was trained to do these things. So for him, it's so easy to talk about these things. He's not a prophet. It's not like he predicted this, right? It's because he was literally trained to do this. He knew the plan, and he knew the action, and he knew the action that was taken to fulfill that plan. So it's like he wasn't really predicting anything. He was just telling you exactly what's going to happen because he knew that this was the goal from the very beginning. And when you think about it, he was doing this in the 70s. Putin is a former KGB agent. He was trained the same way this guy was trained, and now he's in power in Russia. And Putin has severe nostalgia for the Soviet Union. Like, he thinks that the collapse of the Soviet Union is one of the greatest tragedies. So obviously he's going to fill in those footsteps, and he's going to be doing the same things. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he was like, in order to understand the mind of Putin and how his propaganda works, no, it wasn't in the 60s. His interview was in the 70s. His interview was in the 70s. I believe it was 1974 or 75, and he defected in like early 70s. So he was talking about these things, right? And when you look at Putin and what he does, he's using the same playbook that this guy is talking about, because that is literally his training. It's the same training. It's the same machine. They came out of the same school. They worked for the same institution. They worked for the KGB. Okay, Czech volunteers handed over 1,000 RPG-75M anti-tank grenade launchers to the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, this one's going to be very heavy. I mean, we obviously knew this, but basically, during the winter, the UN mission documented the execution of 32 Ukrainian prisoners of war. Additionally, experts conducted interviews with 60 Ukrainian military personnel who were recently released from captivity. All of them had endured sexual violence. The head of the Bell mission reported that nearly all respondents stated that Russian military personnel and officials tortured prisoners. This included beatings, electric shocks, prolonged uncomfortable positions, and threats of executions or mock executions. The mission's report also details Russian administration violence against residents of occupied Ukrainian territories. This includes civilian killings, arbitrary detentions, and constraints on freedom of expression. After the live, I'm going to link 2 interviews on my page. One is a triptych with Tork. He's a defender of Azovstal. And so for those of you who have been with this channel for a long time, you have seen this interview, you know Tork, you know that I've brought up Tork a million times. He's phenomenal. And he's still with Azov, and he is still fighting, and he's incredible. Tork is also a friend of mine. But so if you haven't seen his interview, he survived by so many pure chances of luck. He survived in Mariupol. It was a miracle that he made it to Azovstal. He nearly died so many times. And I mean, like, you know, many people nearly died. But I mean, he had been this far away from death, probably 10 times in between him getting from Mariupol to Azovstal. And it was like, you know, luck, because he wasn't noticed, or the shell blew right next to him. Like, it's an incredible interview. So he talks about the bunker in Azovstal. He talks about captivity. He talks about how they were treated. And then the other interview is the interview with Aidan Aslan. He's the British guy who was in the Marines in Mariupol, and he was captured by Russia, and him and Sean Pinner were both convicted to capital punishment. So they were going to be executed. And then they were exchanged. So I have an interview with him as well. And also there is an interview with Wikipedia, who also survived Mariupol, defended it, and defended Azovstal. He actually got his leg amputated on the last day in Azovstal. He was the last patient at their bunker hospital, or at their bunker surgical OR operation room. And he's phenomenal as well. He's also a really good friend of mine. I'm going to show you. There is a playlist on my account, and the playlist is called Tougher Than Steel, Defenders of Ukraine. It's the second playlist from the top. And that's where you can find all of the interviews with like just brilliant Ukrainian military personnel. The United States has extended sanctions against the Russian Federation for its involvement in cyber attacks for another year, according to the White House. The Biden administration asserts that significant malicious activity in cyberspace still poses an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. As a result, the state of emergency declared on April 1st, 2015 should be maintained beyond April 1st, 2024, stated the U.S. President's administration. Cindy, come here. Sin, hey, Sin. Cindy, sorry. Sin, come here. Cindy, please stop. Hey, Sin. Cindy, Domana. Domana, come here. Good girl. Come here. Good girl. Wikipedia, Yulia's very dear friend whom she may kill. Well, Wikipedia is like 6'2", and I'm like 5'2", okay? And he's like a bulky dude. So I'm not going to be able to do that. It's no way to talk to your husband. It's not my husband. It's my 4-pod. Come here. It's my 4-pod little brat. That's who it is. Not my husband. Jeez. Hello. Hello, Bratty. Hello, Bratty, little thing. Oh my God. Okay. I'm glad we got that sorted. The head of the Swedish Foreign Ministry, Tobias Billström, said that NATO countries should strive to create more strategic difficulties in order to curb Russia's behavior. According to him, the first priority should be to stop the aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, where, according to the minister, the alliance is not doing enough. Also, you guys, I think I saw a donation from Lynn a little earlier towards the art school in the amount of $25.22, which brings us, okay, 1 second, which brings us to 264.06 plus 24. That will be 280. Let's round it up. $289 for the art school altogether. Svetlana Hranchuk, Deputy Minister of Energy of Ukraine, provided updates on the aftermath of the Russian attack on the Dniprovska hydroelectric power plant on March 22nd. She stated that rubble continues to be cleared and experts are assessing the condition of the equipment. We prioritize repairing equipment that can be quickly fixed. For those with significant damage, we seek replacements and aim to restore them promptly. However, we must recognize that energy is now the enemy's primary target. Hence, we must prepare for various scenarios. Hranchuk emphasized that energy workers are exerting all efforts to safeguard and repair damaged facilities. However, effective protection necessitates bolstering air defense capabilities. We are deploying all available measures, from repairs to enhancing protection for our energy facilities. Strengthening air defense is imperative as it provides the best defense, especially for energy infrastructure. Our strategy involves a comprehensive approach combining air defense, physical protection measures, and ongoing construction efforts to safeguard our facilities, Hranchuk concluded. This one is very interesting, although I doubt anything's going to come out of it because, to be honest, there are protests like that every year or 5 or so in Hungary and nothing really comes out of it. But Mass protests erupted in Hungary, with thousands of people taking to the streets of Budapest last night. They demanded the resignation of Prime Minister Viktor Orban and the chief prosecutor following the release of an audio recording implicating corruption within the Hungarian government. So, I am going to, there is a video that I found on YouTube that details this a little better. So, I'm going to show you that. 1 second, and we're going to watch it because this, okay, it's from the Associated Press, and I feel like it's useful. Oh my gosh, why does the search bar not go away? Okay, corruption in Hungary, yeah, shocker. But it's thousands of people who have been rallying, and I am going to show you what that looked like and why. And I really where's the go.
Mondjuk el, hogy semmi sem mehet ezután úgy, ahogy eddig volt. Mondjuk el a regnáló hatalomnak, hogy a regnáló hatalomnak a nép szemébe kell néznie, és vállalnia kell a politikai és jogi felelősséget az elkövetett hibákért, és még inkább a bűnökért.
Végre van egy olyan erő, egy olyan karakter, aki azt képviseli, ami nekem gyakorlatilag szó szerint a problémám a jelenlegi helyzettel, politikai berendezkedéssel, a visszaélésekkel, a lassan fővünk a levünkben, mint a békák, és nem vesszük észre, hogy leves lesz belőlünk, és ezt a folyamatot már nagyon időszerű megállítani.
Yeah, so that was the protest in Hungary because apparently there were audio recordings leaked. Oh, hi, MJ. There were audio recordings leaked of Viktor Orban implicating him in corruption, which is like, I mean, did you not know that prior to today? Because his corruption is very, very incredibly obvious. Like, for instance, you know, basically selling Hungarian passports to Russians under his government so they could have EU citizenships and go to the US without visas. Yeah, that was, you know, that was a minor little detail over there that I guess everybody just overlooked. Yeah, totally not corrupt. How does one manage to sell, you know, thousands of passports? Rather like selling a Hungarian citizenship. Also, a reminder, if you would like to donate to the Art Academy, you could try to do that through Monobank, which will be available in my stories in a link after this live, because the students did create a Monobank jar. But you can also donate to my PayPal or Venmo, and I can forward it there from my Ukrainian account. So if you would like to do that, you are welcome to do that through Venmo or PayPal, which is linked in my bio on TikTok. And I suppose Grumpy could do me a favor and post it in the YouTube comment section. Russian oil companies are experiencing delays in payments for oil and fuel, with some lasting several months, as banks in China, the UAE, and Turkey tighten controls. These banks now require written guarantees that sanctioned individuals or entities are not involved in transactions. As a result, money flow to Russia is disrupted, but global energy supplies remain unaffected. Andrei Kulchitsky, the head of the military research laboratory at the Kyiv Scientific Research Institute of Forensic Expertise, stated the Russian Zircon missile used in an attack on Kyiv on February 7th and March 25th fails to achieve its primary objective due to navigational issues. Yes, Grumpy. In an interview with Suspilna, Kulchitsky explained that despite claims of superiority, the missile's actual combat performance falls short. Preliminary examination of wreckage suggests deviations from intended flight paths and improper functionality. No, Grumps, my PayPal and Venmo. Okay, so this is my PayPal, and Venmo is literally at Yulia, the same way as it's spelled here. Kulczycki also asserted that Ukrainian air defense systems, notably the Patriot system, have the capability to intercept these missiles. He highlighted that analysis of missile fragments revealed a small warhead containing no more than 40 kilograms of explosives, significantly less than other missile types such as the KH-101 and KH-22. Nonetheless, further analysis is ongoing to ascertain the exact composition of the warhead substance. We are still conducting analysis to determine the exact substance, but the warhead's capacity is relatively small. So $289 plus $5 that just came in from Dave, thank you very much, makes it $294 total for the art school. So I also wanted to ask you guys something. So me and Masha want to collaborate on a video where we kind of show what life is like in Ukraine for an average Ukrainian that does not live at the front line, to show people that the war does exist, even if you don't see it because we go to coffee shops and stuff. So some of you might have relatives that say things like, oh, but there is no war in Ukraine because blah. Can you let us know what that blah is? I'm very curious to know, because we kind of want to target these stereotypes and we want to show why they are not true and what a day in war looks like if you do not live in a frontline city. So if you guys have, so basically what I'm asking about is, what do you think we are not showing enough? Because I think, like, living here, a lot of, a lot of everyday things we are not really portraying because we are used to them. And I feel like a lot of people still have a lot of questions and misconceptions about Ukraine, and there are also like a lot more daily things that we want to portray. So Bombi says, I have relatives that say, I just feel so sorry for the poor innocent Russians. Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like they expect it to be like a city from Fallout. Yeah, they do. They do. So do you feel like making a video, for instance, saying like, come with me on my regular day at work in Kyiv, and I can, for instance, like, it's like a video that starts with me, like getting coffee at a coffee shop, like making breakfast, walking my dog, and then going to film an art academy that's been completely bombed the day before. And then getting home after a long emotional day, and literally, because every day that I've come home at about 9 or 10 p.m. in the past, God knows how long, there's been an air raid siren going off. And so me and Masha were thinking of doing like a split screen video of showing like both of our days, and kind of like showing what that looks like for people that might not completely understand what war can be like. Because, just because Kyiv is not bombed every second of the day, it doesn't mean that the war is not here or the war doesn't touch us at all. Of course, it touches Zaporizhia or Mykolaiv or Kharkiv much more, Odessa. So yeah. So we're just like, we want. So someone said that the human side, I think Bombi said that the human side of these events is missing, because there are lots of journalists and there are lots of facts and there are lots of informational videos like that. But the human side of it is not there, because there are very few people anymore that film their like daily lives. And I guess if they do, they're more just like lifestyle bloggers, and they're just talking to a Ukrainian audience, or they're like people who have left Ukraine and they're now in the US and they're like enjoying their new life and like whatever, and they're trying to like build something there. So yeah, I was thinking of like doing more, trying to do more videos showing like what daily life in Kyiv is like. And I have friends in Odessa and I have friends in Kharkiv that I am going to try and encourage to kind of record their days once in a while, because it's a totally different day. It's a totally different day. So yeah. German defense concern Rheinmetall has received 130 million euros from the EU to ramp up ammunition production. By 2027, the company aims to produce 1.1 million shells annually. Emphasizing the significance of ammunition in Ukraine's battle against occupiers, the organization highlights its commitment to supporting Ukraine's efforts. Preliminary information suggests that the Russians fired an Iskander-M missile with a high explosive warhead at Mykolaiv. The attack resulted in casualties among the civilian population, with 6 people injured, one of whom is in serious condition. It has been reported that there were no military targets at the location where the missile struck. 1 person died and at least 10 suffered injuries of varying degrees as a result of today's shelling of Kharkiv. Among the injured are 4 children. Damaged apartment buildings. The number of victims may increase. Information is being updated. All circumstances all circumstances of what had happened are being examined. Specialists work on the ground. Serhiy Bolganov, the head of the investigative department of the National Security Service in the Kharkiv region, reported that Kharkiv was struck by aerial bombs for the first time since 2022. Give me a second. There is a precious little troll on YouTube. Hello, baby. I'm so happy to see you. You have no idea. So here is the thing. See, you people, you come in here and you see, like, usually the reason why you're so bald in your stupid statements is because you're like, young girl, okay? This is going to be easy. Oh, honey bunny, you do not know what you got yourself into. Hello, welcome to our beautiful community of educated people whose brains have not been fried off by I don't know, whatever it is you use in Russia to straighten your hair, an iron. Anyways, okay, there is a lot to dissect here. So let's start with the first comment. Why did Ukraine not accept neutrality when Russia offered it? 1958 Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, well, Cuba has nothing to do with this, and also 1958 was like 70 years ago, so how about we don't talk about that? Anyways, I'm very well aware of the situation, are you, Ivan? Anyways, you should be so lucky living in Kyiv. If Russia wanted Kyiv, they would have continued the first time, but Zelensky agreed but ran to the USA. First of all, I do implore you, baby, to learn how to put commas. Commas are important. Commas are very important in sentence building. Syntax is really important in sentence building, because I don't have any fucking clue what you're saying. And that is not because I don't have a clue what you're saying. It's because you're not using punctuation. Punctuation is important, honey bunny. Please, Jesus Christ. I'm going to try and redo this again, putting punctuation in for you, because clearly you need help on that. Let's do it. If Russia wanted Kyiv, they would have continued the first time, comma. But Zelensky agreed, comma, but ran to the USA. Zelensky is in Kyiv, baby. Zelensky is in Kyiv, honey bunny. I don't know where Kiev is. I've never heard of that city, genuinely. So I don't know. Putin might want Kiev. Putin might build Kiev in Russia, wherever he wants to. That's 1. 2, why did Ukraine not accept neutrality when Russia offered it? So let me put it in terms comprehensible for your tiny little teensy little brain over there. So You buy a house and you own all the rights to this house. You have all the documents for the purchase of the house. You are the owner of the house. You have a neighbor that doesn't like your next door neighbor, and your neighbor, that neighbor that doesn't like your next door neighbor, comes in and goes like, you know, if you decide to go to dinner to our neighbor's house, the neighbor that I hate, I'm going to come and destroy your house and murder your wife and R-word your children and take over your house and just live there because I simply don't want you to have fucking dinner with our neighbors. I don't want you to be friends. I hate them. But what right does he have to come and take your house or do any of these things to your family? He doesn't. Because, you know, it's your house and you have all the prerogative to decide what the fuck you do with it. That's one. Two, Ukraine was neutral and Ukraine did not try to apply into NATO until after Russia invaded Donbass in 2014. And if you so wish, and you have the time, and you do, you can peruse my channel because it's your job. So you do have all the time in the world, which is kind of pathetic to be honest, but like, yes, I get it. No other skills, so you have to do this. But anyways, you can go peruse my channels about 5-6 videos ago on another 2-hour live, which you have all the time in the world to watch. You can find an interview with Dmytro Kuleba, where he explains the timeline of what Russia did and said versus what Ukraine did and said year by year, month by month, date by date. And through this timeline, you can see that Ukraine haven't even breathed towards NATO until after Russia invaded us. And also, even so, this argument makes no sense because Ukraine is an independent country. And we do not owe to Russia to be neutral. We can decide our own alliances for ourselves. Just because Russia is a freaking genocidal maniac and doesn't want us to do this or that doesn't mean we have to listen, and that does not give them right to invade us because we decided to ally with someone else. It is literally like not a thing. That is a huge violation of international law. Okay, so why did Ukraine strip Ukrainian Russians of the rights in Ukraine? Why did a large portion of your military leave Ukraine and relocate to Russia? Never happened. Okay, none of, again, punctuation, buddy. But I will, I'll give you a discount on that one. I will forgive it because I do know education in Russia is struggling. Anyways, why did Ukraine strip Ukrainian Russians of their rights? What are Ukrainian Russians? We don't have Ukrainian Russians. We have Ukrainians in Ukraine. We do have some people that do speak Russian. What rights were they stripped of? Because, until 2022, most of the education in Eastern regions was done in Russian. Ukrainian was being taught as a second language in a country that's called Ukraine, where our primary language is Ukrainian. And most people had the ability to sign their documents in Russian and Ukrainian. Until like 2014, or until like 2012 or 13, we didn't have voiceovers in Ukrainian. Our TV was usurped by Russian oligarchs and Russian channels. Russian speakers in Ukraine were never, ever, 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 ever having any issues. Also, how would you predetermine on a government level who is a Russian speaker, and how would you refuse them rights? Because if you wanted to, if you wanted to impose a language rule, you would have just literally done that. But we actually never did that until Russia literally started bombing all of our cities. So yeah, no, this argument, also what is up with these trolls lately being so boring? Oh, I agree, but Ukraine is being used by the USA as a proxy, so I'm sorry. You came in here basically spitting all this propaganda. None of it worked because you didn't expect me to be able to disprove all your bullshit so easily, right? So now you agree, but now you tell me that, Ukraine is being used as proxy by NATO. Whose fucking problem is that? That's not your problem. If you're Russian, not your problem. If you're, I don't know, a European, not your problem. Why do you care who we are or not, or aren't used by? Like, that's for us to decide. That's for us to decide if we're okay with that or not. We're not being used by anyone for any proxy war because Ukraine is literally protecting itself from fucking Russia that's wiping us out. But at the same time, even if that was the case, so that still doesn't give Russia any fucking rights to do anything, nor does it give Russia any rights to invade Ukraine. Even if we were these stupid people that had no idea what was happening to us, and NATO was like, ooh, opportunity, that still does not give Russia a single right to invade Ukraine, and it does not give Russia any right to spew this propaganda that you came in here spewing and couldn't even stand by it because it's propaganda. Anyways, none of the shit matters because at the end of the day, even if any of your thesis were true, let's say Ukraine was doing something to Russian speakers, that doesn't give Russia the right to come in and invade. Russia has been discriminating against all of Russia's minorities. Their languages and culture are forbidden, literally. They're being wiped out. None of Russian minorities speak their languages anymore because they have quite genuinely been forbidden. Does that now mean that that hi Mark, nice to meet you. Ozzy is amazing. Does that now mean that, I don't know, like Germany can come in and start wiping out Russia because they have like denied the right to Russian minorities to speak Russian? No, that's a violation of international law. Like Germany has no business coming into Russia and dictating what to do. Much less like coming in and bombing Russia because they don't like their policies towards their minorities. Russia is not king in Ukraine. Russia has nothing to do with Ukraine. The UN could sanction Ukraine if that was true, if Ukraine was in fact doing that. But like coming in and carpet bombing cities is not, oh, we are protecting Russian speakers. No, first of all, no one asked you to come do that. Second of all, you have no right to do that. If you feel like there is something like that happening, then you report it to the UN and you report it to proper international bodies. They investigate it and then they take action. And that action is not Kinjals, Zircons, and what's its face? Onyxes flying into art schools in the capital. Also, Zelensky never agreed with Putin. I don't know where that line was even coming from. The youngest child affected by the bombing of Kharkiv last night is 3 months old. Tell me, how is this Ukraine's fault? Slovenia has joined the Czech initiative to procure projectiles from Ukraine. Putin played Trump and still does. Putin didn't have to play Trump. Trump is a useful idiot. 2014 Donetsk regions, Ukrainian military shelling. Are you just like taking out your propaganda playbook at this point and trying anything and seeing if it sticks? There were 15,000 people killed since 2014 to 2022. Most of them were Ukrainian military and Ukrainian civilians. The rest of them were Russian military. Ukraine never shelled Donetsk, and you can actually even confirm that for yourself, because Russia has been shelling Ukraine for what, 2 years, and most cities are literally carpet bombed. But Ukraine has been incessantly shelling specifically Russian children in Donbass, and somehow there was not a single destroyed building starting from 2014 to 2022. What was Ukraine shelling? Are these buildings wearing invisibility cloaks? Also, have you seen any international agency verify that, other than Russian propaganda channels, Russian state-sponsored media that's completely controlled by the state? No, you have not. You know why? Because it's bullshit. Also, if you've listened to actual Ukrainians from Donetsk, you would know how bullshit that is. Consequences of shelling. Now, here is what shelling looks like. This is Kharkiv. This morning. You know what else shelling looks like? And this is actually recorded on my personal phone, which you cannot get any Russian citizen or a Donetsk person from 2014 to 2024 to show you that, because they simply don't have it, because that never happened. This is what I recorded today in the center of Kyiv. This is an art academy, because Russia came to liberate students from art skills, I suppose, and from their final projects. Yeah. Reasonable, right? This one's quite lovely too. The coalition of armored vehicles in support of Ukraine was established in Warsaw under the leadership of Poland and Germany, and with the support of Great Britain, Sweden, and Italy, the press service of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported. Brussels has uncovered an additional €5 billion in profits from Russian assets, reports Politico. The European Commission states that this sum will address both ongoing and potential legal claims in Russia and other nations. Furthermore, Euroclear, where a significant portion of the frozen funds is held in Belgium, can access an insurance buffer of 10% of profits earned after February 15th, 2024. That's actually very good news, because $5 billion is a lot of money, and that is a lot of interest going in that money. Patrick Lancaster, YouTube journalist reporting from Donetsk region since 2008 until present. Since 2008. When did Ukraine attack Donbass? When did that happen? And also, just out of curiosity, when was Azov formed? Your favorite unit. Oh yeah, no, of course I know. I'm actually very curious about those troops too. They should have died about 3 days in, to be honest, 3 days after leaving, 3 days to a week with the level of radiation that they've received. And no one was like talking about them. This troll is so funny. Honey, you don't get 5 billion, only 10% cash reaches Ukraine, the rest goes to Western military. See, if you did clear your ears, you would hear that I said 5 billion is a lot of money, and that's a lot of percentage to be made on that money. You know, like when you put money into savings, you get interest. It's a lot of interest on $5 billion. Thanks for nothing, though. Anyways, the UK would be unable. Actually, you know what? I read this thing, and I'm not going to report on that because I think it's utter bullshit. And I want to check the Deputy Chief of the British Defence Staff's statement before I actually read that. The prosecutor's office in Hamburg has announced charges against 5 employees of the German company Siemens for exporting gas turbines to the occupied Crimea, a case that came to light in 2017. After more than 6 years of investigation, the Hamburg prosecutor's office has charged 4 Germans and 1 citizen of Switzerland and France with violating the ban on supplying goods to occupied Crimea. According to the prosecution, those involved were aware that 4 gas turbines worth 111 million euros, which were shipped from Hamburg to St. Petersburg in late 2015 and early 2016, were not intended for southern Russia, but for 2 new power plants in Crimea to provide electricity to the peninsula annexed by the Russian Federation. Still doesn't matter. These are occupied territories. You're not allowed to do that. That's how sanctions work. 39 Nobel laureates have issued a call urging the global community to bolster support for Ukraine. In a statement published by the T-Invariant website, they emphasize that Putin's regime represents a direct and unmistakable threat to humanity. The laureates advocate for a substantial increase in aid to Ukraine, backing for democratic opposition within Russia, and refusal to recognize Putin as the president of the Russian Federation. The message underscores, we call on world leaders and all people of goodwill to relinquish any illusions about Putin and his criminal regime. Among the signatories are 16 Nobel laureates in physiology and medicine, 9 in physics, 6 in chemistry, 4 in literature, and 3 recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize. Notably, Ukrainian Alexandra Matvichuk is among the signatories. Kharkiv Thermal Power Station 5 has been destroyed as a result of Russian missile strikes. Currently, the power plant is not operational, and it is uncertain when it will be restored. What brought me to the USA? I'm in Kyiv. This is not the USA. I did live in the US for 13 years until 3 months ago, and like boarding school, college, work, life, things like that. And that's all I have for today, unfortunately or fortunately. And I do implore you to send any donations that you can for the art school, because in the next couple of days, I'm hoping to raise $500 altogether for them, because they totally deserve it. And I think that it would be, it would be fantastic if we could be able to cover just some repairs for them, because again, those videos of the damage that I was showing you are all from the art school, and it's quite daunting. I think so. So there is today or yesterday. So there is one from Kevin for $5. There is one from Lynn for $24.69, and those are today. Yesterday, there are more, but today we are all together with yesterday at $2.94. woke American Trump. Trump is, you know, I could call him a lot of things, but woke is not one of them. Like, not one of them. Woke is generally like slang for, you know, I mean, like it is being used as an insult now, and it is being used sarcastically and kind of like ironically, but at the same time, like woke means like educated in like certain issues, and Trump is like not there. You can't even comedically call him woke. Hi, Tyrannus. Oh, he's a little confused. It's only 4 letters. I know. Which is why it's wild. Trump is not so woke. Trump is not even not so woke. Like, he's not woke at all. That man is like the furthest from woke I could ever imagine. I feel like the people who get who are being called woke as an insult every day would be insulted that Trump is like has been put among them. Genuinely. Yulia isn't woke. She never fell asleep. Well, Yulia does have a very hard time waking up. Although today I did wake up very early, and you know what? So the thyroid meds that my dad got from got here, figured out how to get here from Germany and not pay like a ridiculous amount of money for. They arrived yesterday, and no, not yesterday, 2 days ago or so. And so I took them for 2 days, and today already I was able to freaking wake up at 9 a.m. Did I miss a troll? Did I think I did? Oh, is there another troll that I'm missing? Did I not respond? Did I miss a troll? You guys? I feel like you guys were all talking about a troll. Republican platform is to be against woke. Yeah, very much so. Could try writing to the art supply makers in the UK for supplies for art school. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. Like canvases and stuff like that would be highly appreciated, to be honest. I mean, like, so here's the thing. Like, I don't know. So I think canvases are one of the biggest problems because a lot of their graduation, like final projects have been destroyed. No, but that troll I know, but I feel like there was another one. No, did I miss another one? We were grieving the loss of John. Yeah, I feel like Anastasia would know who to contact. Actually, my aunt, I could ask her. And so I am going to do more for the art school than just do fundraisers. I'm going to try and do an auction, and I'm going to try and get that auction out to like U24 and big platforms. So it's not, so it's like a whole different realm of things. So we're going to try. We're going to try to do that. And I think if it works out, it would be fantastic. So I wonder if I can pay them for a statue of myself. I mean, like, you could commission a statue of yourself from one of the like sculpture students, for sure. Do you want a statue of yourself? All right, guys, it's 2:30 a.m. in Ukraine, and John over here wants a statue of himself. So I think that's a very good signal for me. I know someone from the Associated Press, actually, so I might. Hi Justin. So I need to go to sleep. However, and I think that John trying to hijack the Rocky. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow at some point, maybe with Masha actually, because she's gonna come over to babysit Cindy and to live here for 3 days while I'm in Lviv. But I gotta go to bed. John's trying to make a statue of himself. I think it's a great time to go to bed. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out, for listening to the news. And yeah. Okay. Bye, guys. Good night. Bye.